love to you and yours. We're going to be talking pink black. Pink black. Pink black. Oh. There's a climatic story about the beginning of creation, and it talks about Horus, the eye. It talks about there being an eye that went to search out for the children. This is in the climatic story of creation. Good day, love. Good day, family. Much love to you. Thank you for joining me. It's going to be great today. You know, while we have the time, we have to learn and teach, right? Much love to you and yours. Today we're talking pink black perceptions and energies. Check this concept, pink and black. I was just saying how years ago I was listening to the story of creation from the climatic point of view, and it talks about Horus and the eye, and it talks about there being one eye when the children, he had children, and they went out and they went too far, so he sent the first eye out to search for the children, and he couldn't very well be without an eye because he was all knowing, all seeing, right? Saw all things. So he created another eye, which we call the third eye, purple, right, to look after. But the children came back along also with the first eye. What I'm looking at is the chakra chart. Looking at this, the chakra chart, and we're looking at color correspondences. I said pink, black, right? Fuchsia and black. Black being black dot, dark matter, all-knowing space, right? The space of creation. And pink, where is pink? If we're using this scale, basically primary colors and a few others to describe our being, right? So anyway, on the chakra chart, look at the music chart. So we're talking about vibration and the correspondence with frequency. And we're primarily resonating ourselves, okay? Corresponding to these frequencies, these colors, these feelings, these states of being, right? So we're concentrated on the purple, but it's actually the fuchsia when you look at the color correspondence for that eye. Bam. And that would be a SAR. We know that there's overlapping in the principles, right? So I was just looking at the pink black. The way we have words, good day, love, and how words are whirls. They whirl around our head and cause those conceptualized moments where we say, ah, aha. And it all starts with a thought when we conceptualize, when we mull things over and we meditate. It sets off these sparks and gives us ideas that we set into motion, right? We set into motion with our hands and feet. Okay, so our intentions are fed by way of what we're thinking about, the airborne thoughts. Okay. Okay, so our body being a mini model of a macro of a macro concept, right? We're talking about color, frequency, and vibration, light. Okay, light code, being. We're light codes being, right? So within this body, we got all these different colors and there's correspondences. For instance, red is lamb and orange is vam. This is on the chakra chart, yoga. Yellow is ram, green is yam, blue is ham, purple is and fuchsia is aha. Alpha, I got it from up here, you know, and the lower levels being from down there. So even with frequency and vibration, when we start to look at how we model after things, we can see the correspondences, right? So our life is like a dance. We dance with these frequencies. They come in, they come out, and we respond to them. We respond to like-minded frequencies, or we reject ones that we don't want. It's a dance, right? It's a dance with words and concepts. The difference in perception between what we understand and what we don't is a major difference in our world. So, I was looking at resonators. Our perception is like a resonator. Perception. What we're able to receive and incorporate into our lives makes a big difference in the way that we see things. One moment. Makes a big difference in the way that we see things. So yeah, on a scale, right? The pink being just before the white, right? I don't know, I could lose my place that quick. Amazing. Excuse me. Sometimes I feel like I'm in some weird dream. I'll have everything all organized and in place, and then when I go to lay it out, it falls in a different way. But that's okay. I'm just here to share a message. I'm not here to win an award or anything. We'll get it. So we're looking at the head and the tail, or what we feel like is the head and the tail, right? a SAR and a set. A SAR and a set. Come on, you notes. Okay, I wrote it down somewhere else differently. Oh, when I grabbed those nuts, it messed me up. Here we go. There we go. I had it in my hand the whole time. Now I got double notes. I hope I don't get too messed up. Okay, we're talking about the head and the tail. Now there was this concept. A SAR sits on a set's throne, and a set sits on a SAR's crown. A SAR sits on a set's throne, and a set sits on a SAR's crown. So a set is the tree, and a SAR is the throne. And I was like, how does this happen? In my mind, I had to figure it out, and it's the 69, right? The throne suppresses the crown, and the crown sits on the throne. It's the male and female principle, it's the marriage, but in this mirage, in this matrix, it's backwards and it's upside down, the way these principles, male and female principles, works. It's the snake that eats itself. And I had put a little note to know thyself. You know, we have the Taurus energy field, and we have the sound wave, and depending on the way that we look at it. We have the suppression of the female energy by way of male domination. We have a Luciferian when you think of so much whitewashing that you get a lie, you get tricknology, okay? The dark and light, and how when we dance around these concepts of words, right? The incubation, the birthplace, the womb space for tricknology is in us not knowing. It's in those hidden spaces in the darkness. Whereas in the pink, thank you, love. I could use that love, Brother Colin. Thank you. The pink is our higher concepts. You know, it's vibrating here, and it's where we get the aha. It's out of the body experience and into other places that we need to cultivate. Removing female principle. Excuse me 1 second. I'm a little emotional lately. Been going through it a lot. Removing the female principle from the way we do things causes this great distortion. So I was looking at, I'm resilient. That's what tears do. Darkness. And our ability not to see or not want to see. I was looking at my own growth process. I was checking out Vsauce. He's really cool on YouTube. Check him out. He had this video on darkness. And it's called the Dunning-Kruger effect. That's when a novice doesn't realize how much they need to learn in so many words. That's the dark space. That's when we think that we know everything, we know enough, and we overstep our boundaries. There was a story about this guy, MacArthur Wheeler. He was a bank robber who put lemon juice on his face thinking that he could escape the camera view because lemon juice on paper can make, you can write with lemon on paper and it will be invisible unless you see it in the light. So in his mind, he was ignorant. He was a nigger. He took that concept of the lemon juice that he could use to write on paper It kind of sounds like the theory of evolution. We do some niggerish stuff, some stupid stuff, okay? And he went and he robbed a bank, and he got caught trying to incorporate the science into his activity that he was doing, okay? So the novice is the one who doesn't know how much they need to know, and that's what I learned from when I was looking for notes and studying some different dynamics on darkness, shadow, particularly shadow and light is what I've been looking at, right? So funny thing, a little etymology, right? The darkest part of a shadow is called the umbrella. No, the umbra. U-M-B-R-A. Umbra. That's a complete blackout of light. But the penumbra, P-E-N-U-M-B-R-A, is a partial block of light. But doesn't the complete block kind of sound like umbrella? Under my umbrella. Talking about the darkness, right? People who are afraid of the light, noctrophobia. Anyway. So they have these things with light called troughs and troughs. That's where the light, where it comes together, okay? Where the light and dark starts to overshadow each other. Constructive interference. That's probably when we're like, huh? What is that? Or what are you talking about? Or what did he say? Or I'm really trying to get the brain fart, and we're trying to understand something, right? It's like geometric paint that was described. But in our minds, it would probably be static. The difference between static interference and not getting it and getting it is that middle ground, right? Like Middle Earth, like the C note, like a tuning, as in the consciousness grid, as in community consciousness. That's the word I was looking for. Collective consciousness. Yay! Yes, yes. Collective consciousness. Because we're all sharing this energy that we're raising up. Yeah. So all these sounds, check out Arya Sama. I was looking at sounds. Within this darkness, the space called darkness, which they told us is nothingness, is not nothingness, it's the allness. It's only nothingness if you can't perceive what's there, because we can't comprehend it. And it all starts with a thought, see? Yeah. So this woman has also been going through sounds like I do, A-E-I-O-U, or sometimes Y. I, hypothetically, metaphorically, infinitely, A-E-I-O-U, and sometimes Y. I, hypothetically, metaphorically, infinitely, So I was led to do that spiritually, not really knowing what I was doing, but it's fine-tuning my spirit to the all and using the range of frequencies. This woman, Ira Sama, she's been doing that too. So that's a little collaboration, right? A little resonance, correspondence, right? Corresponding frequencies. Resonance and collaboration, yes, is what we're building, this new place we call our world, right? So then I was, well, actually before that happened, hope it doesn't tip over. I was looking at darkness, shadow, and dance. Okay, so here we go. Dance, dancing, dancer. Let me show you this really quick, and then I'm going to read it and put it back. Oh, okay. Dancing. Probably from OHG, dansen, to draw or drag along. Dinsan, to trail, drag. 3, to bob up and down. Remember I was talking about those wave interference, right? Conceptualize, to dance, to cause to dance, to bring to a specified condition by dancing, as if he danced her weary, to dangle. What's to dangle? Rhythmic movement of the feet or body, ordinarily to music. A particular kind of dance, as the waltz, tango, etc. The art of dancing, one round of dance. Okay, I'm just going to fast forward here to the last part of this here. The dance of death and painting. See, now there was particular kinds of dance, and dances had an evolution also. So we have the dance of death and painting and sculpture and allegorical illusion of the power of death, and to which a skeleton leads a group of live persons or skeletons to the grave. Dance macabre. Okay, here, dance in ancient Greece, a war dance symbolizing attack and defense. So dance has been utilized in many things. Merry dancers, the aurora borealis, light. Okay, dance script, written directions and diagrams to show the movement, and ballet or other dance. Think constellations. Okay, dance script, written directions, and okay, yeah, I did that one. Dancing, the act or art of moving in measured steps or corresponding to the time of the music. Dancing dis-ease. Okay, dancing girl, professional female dancer, certain Indian Nachi girls. Okay, and then we have the darkness, but I'm going to put this over here now. What I'm getting at is what we don't see, and using the allegory of dancing and how we have embedding and how we actually live out, and the words or the essence of these words actually come to life, you know? So, dark. To make darker or dark, deprived of light. To darken a room, deprived of light. Deprived of, if light is information. Light is it's a light code frequency. It's a frequency. It's not just empty. It's not just void. It's not just light. We have a full scale of a rainbow, bringing in a maximum of things that we're only just starting to decipher as a collective in regards to color and how that breaks down in the frequency, right? So we were in the darkness regarding this. Creative energy. Female principle. That while we were sleeping, people have been utilizing. Okay, the darkness, one's door to call upon, to visit, usually implying unwellness. Okay, darkness, obscurity, absence of light, also a place deprived of light, obscurity, a state of ignorance, as we are all in the dark concerning his plans. Secrecy, as plans hatched in the dark. The art, a shade or shadow, a picture, as darkness and lights are both necessary, and the dark, ununiformed, ignorant. Okay, so ballot, that's what I had here. Dance with the embedding. Think of the ballet, okay? Pirouette and turning, tune, a tone. Ballot, disc, vote. A ballot is a way to resonate, right? A way to regulate and oscillate what we want. Now, in regards to us as an energy, I was looking at a resonator. Also, dance has correspondences with D and the D with delta, the triangle, and density. But basically, in regards to conceptualizing, okay, it's still a dance. You gotta move, right, with it. It's not density as in void, as in no information. As we were told black was. Both of them have a scale. An intention, female principle, pink, being the resonator, and black and white being like a turning place, you know, of either a Luciferian kind of thing where you white it out and it's so whitewashed you can't see it, or it's so dark and secret that we can't comprehend it. Whereas in the fuchsia, we're seeking it out, just like that I went and sought out the children. Daring, go seek it out. It's the female principle. It's the part of ourselves that turns things and brings it back to us. They say that your mother, as a mother, you'll have the child to do the things that you were not capable of. Or that if a mother couldn't say no, the child will grow up to be able to say no. Or, you know, there's things that your child will accomplish and bring into the world. We turned it. The ancestors coming back and being able to distribute what it is that we need for our communities. We used to plan for this. That was our angle. Triangle. Go do. The triangle. Destiny. Instead of density. The ballot. To dance around this whole matrix. To make sense of it. As we put one step in front of the other, our intentions leading the way. We fine-tune each other. We attone. We resonate. Beat. Beat, 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 beat. Beat. Also equated to heavy matter growth of vegetation. Moorland or fallow land which is burned off to enrich the land for plowing. Okay? Land which is burned off to enrich the land for plowing. Beat. To remove the sod or surface. Yeah, beat. Beat is also equated to, that's what beat is in the unabridged dictionary. It's right in here. Which, when we look at melanin, right, or we look at essence, the blackness, the coal and the smoke. There was a word that I was looking for particularly when it came to black. More like how they're squeezing the essence out of, or to burn, being equated to black. And melanin, that's what I was looking for. Okay, dark matter, even burning a land, the beat equated to more land or fallow, land which is burned off to enrich the land or plowing. Even that, you can't miss it. It's in the essence. The essence is melanin. Melanin is matter. Melanin is dark matter. This whole world is matter. And that's the part that has been being hidden. Vegetation. It's been hidden from us, to be set aside. Yep, to remove the sod or surface. To remove it. Also, playing with words, you know what I'm saying? To hide something, to make something elusive. So we dance. We dance with concepts. We don't just dance with our feet. We don't move our feet until after we have a reason to move, right? So, shadow and light. I was wondering, what causes shadow? And from my research, I got the sun, the moon, and Venus are the three objects that cast no shadow on the earth. I thought that was very interesting. Venus and pressure. The pressure. We're talking energies and principles. We're talking red. And what does red embody? An entire span, not just one, not just 911 or fire engine red, you know, or race car red, but apple red and strawberry red and raspberry red. Lips and the sky at certain sunsets. Scarlet. And the intention is what that would mean, right? The intention is what I was indoctrinated with is what I can bring to the table. When you say that, when you give me certain tools or words, what I can dance with it. You know what I'm saying? Some people just have a hand, and some people know how to do things with that hand, right? You can draw. So it's one tool to do many things, like one ring to rule them all, kind of thing. Okay, we're talking about an essence, okay? Shadow, the X factor, the unknown, yeah. Dark matter, the secret of secrets, huh? Yeah. Darkness matters, because just because you don't know it's there doesn't mean that it doesn't affect us, right? And so our perception is a resonator, and that resonator having a lot to do with the female principle. So we're a little noisy right now, right? As a society. Where's the peace? The frequency is like, right? I was looking at, you know how women are equated to instruments? I can't see anybody. I hope I'm still on. Are you there, family? Or am I still live? Uh-oh. Oh. I don't know if I am or not, but I'm going to continue like I usually do. So you know the way women are usually compared to instruments? Well, I have the resonator guitar. Resonator guitar or resophrothic guitar, acoustic guitar that produces sound by conducting string vibrations through the bridge to one or more spun metal cones. Instead of the guitar's sounding board, resonator guitars were originally designed to be louder than regular acoustic guitars, which were overwhelmed by horns and percussion instruments and dance orchestras. They became prized for their distinctive tone, however, and found life with bluegrass music and blues well after electric amplification solved the problem of inadequate volume. And that's the resonator guitar. Wikipedia, what is a resonator? A resonator installed as part of your car or truck's exhaust system serves one main purpose: to resonate. It's sort of an echo chamber for your car's exhaust, preparing all of the loud noise coming from your engine for the muffler to silence it. Okay? The resonator doesn't just remove sound, it changes it. It changes sound. I was talking about in the zodiac, they say there's 13 signs, and I was saying how the 13th sign seemed more like a regulator, you know. And also in my mind equating the 12 signs of the zodiac to actually 6 signs, because half of the signs are the shadow side of self. Like, for instance, to my Aquarius, my shadow is Scorpio, okay? And to Gemini is Cancer, I believe, okay? So that part that we have segmented and pushed aside is actually still a part of ourselves. It's just the perception and the way that we've been looking at it. Also, light waves and shadow, they don't get a measurement on the shadow, okay? So light, which can be perceived, information waves, it actually has a measurement. The rainbow and shadow, I was looking at the L and the R in the same way that I'm looking at the flip side of the zodiac, okay? And trying to find the lines, following the lines to understand more the shadow area as it pertains to movement and concept, and how much we've segmented our ability to understand both sides and not be so segmented, which puts us in an area where we block out the light and cut ourselves off from information, essentially putting yourself in the darkness, right? Frequency. The body is an instrument, okay? It's a computer. It has feedback. Checking out the female principle again and equating to Ma'at being the balance, right? Information being a light code frequency, but information weighs a fraction. Light weighs, whereas shadow cannot be weighed. It can be weighed against in correspondence with, how you know how they do math, the shadow, you know what I'm saying, against the light. So the body is an instrument. In regards to the way we shoot across the earth, the body is an instrument. Check this out. Pink black. The body is an instrument. Think fast. Pink black. Okay. A resonator, a regulator. When you think of women birthing, what is needed, or what the cosmos divinely uses as divine intervention to align, okay? For instance, sayings in the Bible that a savior will be born or a leader will be born in correspondence with star constellations, okay? There was actually a thing where if certain things happened up there, as above, so below, there was going to be a correspondence down here, and people knew that. People knew that light came alive. So I was thinking about the body being an instrument in regards to the things that we can compose for music, the things that we make, right? The things that we do with ourselves, and how we can walk into a room and be a corresponding frequency of health, wealth, and understanding, right? Or we can be one of disaster and despair. It's the feedback from the computer. We are crystals. We are energy beings comprised of mostly water, and that water holds in information. So the information has been storing, okay, like a computer, you crystals, right? Rainbows, indigos, higher frequency beings, right? Feedback. Don't give any feedback. I was remembering when you were little and your parents told you something and they told you, just do it, don't give any feedback, right? So we put out this energy and we want to feel things. And also what's been equated with the frequency. Missing the female principle. I wonder why people like roller coasters. I don't like roller coasters. I don't like things that scare the heck out of me. You know what I'm saying? But somehow that seems to be something that we like. Daredevils. You know what I'm saying? Roller coasters. People that like to flirt and play around with death. I think we all do that in some ways without realizing it. It's the way that we perceive things. Messing with certain people, flirting with words, right? You know, the angry mouth, or even doing what I'm doing now, knowing that, you know, there's energies in the system that don't want you telling the truth or sharing information and stuff. We can do many times be daredevils and flirt with this darkness, this elusive thing, right? This thing that wants to stay in the dark and be ignorant, this frequency of death. Frequency also a mi amor, right? Mi amore, pink black, think pink black, pink, children and love, you know, spark and the dark, an idea how to get out of a bad situation, right? Where is the doorknob in a dark room, or where is the place to be able to resonate tranquility anyway, even if you're in a space that seems kind of dark. A chasm, a gasm, right? A frequency. They equate orgasm in Shakespeare and poetry to love. Who knows to equate the frequency of having an orgasm, that life, that frequency where you're totally rattled and out of yourself, definitely in a space of flow, I would say. Not able, when you're in that space, that's it. It's a creative energy force. Who can equate that to death? Who knew to do that? That darkness, or the orgasmic feeling of, yeah, I got it. I freaking understand that now. I get the way it works and I can do something about it and it feels good. Or an orgasm that you have with someone you love. Or death, which is another realm or aspect of a parallel dimension. The 69. The 69. Now, on the scale, looking at color in regards to the chakra system, you're looking at the tree. So remember what I was saying about Set and Ashar and this world and the concepts and the way the energy is flowing? And basically, that's what I wanted to say. Looking at shadow. I was just looking at more notes. I think because I always find more after, because I don't take that minute to just chill and be like, okay, let it come back. The female principle and looking at universal law. I was checking out forgiveness, and I was checking out grace, and I was checking out group endeavors, the way we see things. Asar, the eye, the way we see things, right? The law of grace, the law of forgiveness, and a group correspondence. That's goodwill and free will and pink black, think black. a SAR and a set. A SAR and a set. And a dance. Energy. And time to get it back on balance now. That's what we're doing. And, you know, I feel a lot like my feet are being stepped on. I don't want to dance anymore. You know what I'm saying? Somebody has some really hard shoes on. So, what I came up with was looking at Anubis, Asar, and Geb in regards to the tri. As far as looking at energies and the reverb and the resonance, the sound wave being either stifled or regulated. And so looking at the sound wave, right? Earth resonant frequency, and we know all that is off. Just adding that to my concept of understanding. Looking at the embedding of not only light, but shadow and darkness. And even whether it weighs anything. Like Vsauce was also thinking the same kind of stuff, you know. This light actually weighs something. That's some other research that, yeah, so light weighs. But they couldn't weigh the shadow. How interesting. The vastness cannot be measured. That's a lot of potential. But not if we're afraid of it and we don't know how to go in there and get what we need. The Black Plague. And how so many people died because they had no understanding. Why they were killing all the people who did understand stuff about medicines and roots and herbs. Wow. See, that light just went off, you know what I'm saying? Some people did know about rose petals. You know what I'm saying? But that disease killed a lot of people. So anyway, this is Regina's Rabbit Hole, and I was looking at shadows and darkness. I've been going through a lot, dealing with things that seemingly other people around me can't see, but I'm sure being influenced by them. I hope I did what I was supposed to do well. And thank you for letting me share with you, family. Much love to you and yours. I'm out. Good day. This is Regina's Rabbit Hole. The equations that I make are interesting, and I don't want to lose them. So I'm equating energy, and we're looking at shadow. One of the things that I want to keep in my notes at the forefront of my mind that I'm looking at the moment is how Venus energy is neutron energy. Venus has neutron energy. It spins in reverse, and the pressure on the planet is phenomenal. It has a lot of pressure. While I was doing my notes, good day, love, I was thinking of energy, and I was thinking of weight, and I didn't want to miss these notes. It kind of adds up. It belongs with the shadow stuff that I was just talking about. Venus has a lot of pressure on the planet, okay? Phenomenal amount of pressure. So that's weight. We're looking at energetic potential, right? The alchemy of a thing, the nature, the essence, right? It also has neutron energy, and it spins backwards, right? So right now we're looking at black hole energy and quantum, quantum dimensions and stuff. Also, we're looking at how these things weigh. They have a weight. They weigh something, just like light weighs something. They're concepts. When we absorb them, we bring them here, they weigh something, okay? So these ideas, and intention. If you squeeze a tube and there's crap inside, you're going to get crap coming out. If you squeeze a tube and there's love or there's butterflies and beautiful stuff inside, well, not butterflies, you don't want to squeeze the butterflies. If there's flowers and beauty inside and you squeeze it, that's what's going to come out of it. Okay. It's the nature of a thing. Thinking about the 144 and the concept of the 144 and the two, okay? A thought and the weight of the consciousness of two people. We're thinking of universal law, and group consciousness, joint agreements, cosigns, and things like that. The energy, we know that that energy weighs on the consciousness level. Check this, right? This is what I was thinking of when I was looking at light and light being thought, and then looking at shadow and shadow being elusive or not yet conceptualized, right? If one person says it's okay, then maybe you can dismiss it. Do you remember that saying? If two people say it, and maybe you should take a look at it. If three people say it, oh, wait, no, that's not the way it goes. If one person says it, maybe it's just, you could dismiss it. If two people say it, you can still dismiss it. If three or more say it, then you should take a look at it, right? Isn't that group consciousness? But don't we know that the conscious collective is poisoned and sick right now? That's apparent. And the kind of decisions that we see being made on our behalves, obviously there's somebody's opinion lacking. If common sense is common, and that's common sense, we don't want it. We want something else. We want something we don't know about. We're bringing things into existence right now. So what about ego, right? If that's true about consciousness and the group collective, right? If the eyes have it, if the general census says it's okay, then it's okay because we co-signed it. We co-signed the churches and the schools. Okay, we co-signed the taxes. It's an agreed upon process. We co-signed Christmas and Easter and Thanksgiving. We co-signed that boys should be this way and girls should be that way. We have designed our culture and our structure the way we want it, right? Is this what we want it? So even if what we really want is not there, then that would mean the accountability not to pay attention to the things that we don't want, right? So you can retract your attention from it. Like we do see cultures that don't invest in other cultures. They won't even pay attention. They won't even let their consciousness land on you. They won't let their shadow land on you. They won't shed a light on you. They're looking at the two sides of the perspective, depending on the way you look at it. If consciousness weighs, and consciousness turns into currency, pay attention. We have ads. We have the things that we focus on that make our world, like medicines, right? Procedures, laws. So the 144 and the concept of the 144 and the level of consciousness, group consciousness, and how consciousness weighs is an interesting thing when you look at shadow and light. And I didn't want to lose that. The firmament, the thought dome, the thought kingdom. Space being the moon and Nut, and time being the sun, Saturn, rings, and Ra. Also with Venus, not only is the weight so phenomenal, the pressure on the planet so phenomenal, but it also has fluctuations phases of shadow. Yeah, phases of shadow. Just like the sun has phases of light, or the moon has phases, okay? Venus also has phases. So that was also interesting when it comes to the energetic potential. We have phases. We have seasons even here in Connecticut. We have 4 seasons. So we're looking at phases. Even looking at the seasons in wintertime, how it's like a reset time for trees. And they come back alive in the spring, and they start to fall asleep in the fall. Even looking at our cycle on the astrology, looking at thought, how some people are hopeful, those thoughts being light, and how others are more suppressing or depressing without hope, and those thoughts weigh. And that's an opposite side of the spectrum. But they weigh more of like a sucking. It's not light. It's not weight. It's a pulling away from being able to conceptualize an answer. The difference between an answer and a solution, and failure or loss. Group consciousness, pulling things into our existence and how we're changing our world right now. Pulling in procedures and techniques and stuff like that. We're actually, as we find things valuable, the system is rushing to correspond to us finding value in other things and marketing them, packaging them. As soon as you say that something has value, it seems to go up in price in the grocery store, for example. So anyway, that was the part of I wanted to do on dark and light. But this other part does fit in there that I've been meaning to talk about, and that is collaboration. That's the resonator part. What we do together, what we build together, and how it all starts with a thought. So we're bringing our ideas into existence, and these things are like, pay attention, they're marketable. Yeah, there we go, back to it. They're marketable. And we're building this world, and we see how those things can be molded into power and authority. Because if you know how to market an idea and make it lucrative, you can turn it into currency. And we need currency in order to exist in this matrix. So people who know how to do that easily, or have means to do that more easily, seem to be having the upper hand, because in our minds, we're still valuing what everybody else values, what the majority values, what they tell us to value. That's reflecting back at us. And that's why I'm grateful, although there's been a lot of problems and difficulties with social media, like YouTube and Facebook, and the other things. There's just a lot of complaining and stuff about what they're doing with the technology nowadays. Selling you information and stuff, and algorithms, yada yada. No privacy. On the other hand, it gives us an ability to do like what I'm doing right now, which is to share messages that are imperative. They're really imperative to our communities on the real. We need to change some things. We need to hold on to some things to being the resonator, the female principle, and putting it back and adding this creative energy, balancing what I see, this light code frequency, so to speak, on an energetic level, right? I'm actually doing that by sharing this. And so us women, or anything creating, is the female principle. We bring forth things into our reality. We birth things into our reality. We make space. And that space has been being deferred. Our energies, our efforts have been being deferred. What's coming from this dark space. So it wasn't comprehensible before. It wasn't usable before. But as soon as we start using it, they want to start grabbing it and packaging it and, commercializing it. And that's because we still haven't got a grip on how this energy thing works. I think in group consciousness, it's really, really important that we value ourselves and our skills, the things that we're bringing to the table. Not so much all the stuff that's alike, but embracing those differences within ourselves and incorporating it into the whole is important, like our ideas. Now, what's going on right now? Cut to the chase. Technology and ideas. I don't have time to play around and hoard everything for myself and keep everything, because we're in a really detrimental situation right now. We're in a time of change, and it's really not time to play. The things that we've been learning are going to be null and void. They're not going to be as useful because our world is changing. And we see things on the horizon that don't look too good, right? But what looks good is our ability to be able to share information and utilize. I like what we're doing now. I can go on and see so many people sharing information. And I'd rather see that than us tearing each other apart. The energies are, starting to swing in the direction that we need them to go. And that's beautiful. Yeah. It's so freaking beautiful. Okay, so now that we're doing that, we need to trust each other. Okay? Just like we trust that doctor, just like we trust that priest, just like we trust that teacher, we need to start trusting each other, and we need to get buildings, spaces to be able to help each other and start working together. This is our economics. This is going to be the platform for us to teach each other and share. Outside of the regulated credentials and all that kind of stuff, I'm not even going there. Talking about clean water, your herbs and roots, greenhouses, okay? You talk about what we should be learning right now for homeschooling or your own individual learning should be things that could help each other, okay? Water distillation, okay? How to clean water, how to find water, how to clean soil, how to nurture soil that's being affected by the chemicals and the chemtrails and the resistance that's going on, that's been deliberately put there. How to put nutrients back into the soil. How to grow things. How to make food. How to block out radio waves, like the waves from the cell towers. There's grids and materials that can be used, like orgone. How many of us are learning how to make those kinds of things? They break up the waves that are making us sick. There's people dependent on this knowledge that have no idea what's happening to them at all. If there is some kind of natural event where you can't get to a grocery store and that kind of situation changes and people get hungry, It's skills. It's skills that are going to keep people alive, like people who know how to grow food, not just people who know how to shoot guns and protect food, or the cans of food that they were able to put in the ground and save. Those cans of food ain't going to help their genetic structure somewhere down the line because they're not growing anything with light. I mean, it's food. Yes, I know, but we're thinking ahead, right? So we need to think about light and how to put nutrients from light into the food. Think about building crystal grids. These are all knowledges and stuff that we should be teaching our children or letting them at least being aware that these are things that will help so that when we look at them, we don't think that it's some really strange foreign object. You know what I'm saying? We know that it's something that's going to benefit us. The way we look at words, they do affect our minds. And we need to, more of us be sharing our language, be mindful about how we use a lot of self-defeatist language and conversation and relevance to consciousness and group consciousness and looking at one people like they're better than another. It's giving them power. Being a total victim of somebody in a way that gives them power is not cool, because if somebody is victimizing someone else, that shows that they have issues. When people resort to violence, that shows a lack of the ability to communicate. They no longer know how to negotiate or communicate. They get manipulative as an act of violence, keeping things from you. Well, where we live and what's been happening has been an act of violence, a domestic violence, suppressing the female energy, pushing men into a position of female submission by distorting economics and the value of intellectual property, deliberately distorting the way the mind perceives our environment. Knowing about sound and frequency and isolating yourself into a group where you can have peace of mind, and then running fire engines and police cars and flashing neon lights. Why aren't there designated laws for those freaking buildings at night if people are living in the city and whatnot? Why isn't some of the neon shut down? That's because it's more important to sell something. If you know all this stuff is affecting people, why aren't people being aware? Is because the body doesn't mean anything. The spirit doesn't mean anything. Only what that is producing is meaning anything. And if that's not producing love in a safe environment, a feeling of tranquility, I don't understand the purpose. For me. So, like little mini schools, right? Also, the technology, like voice to skull technology, the satellite brain reading technology. How many of us know what that is, what it does, and how it affects the body and the people around us? People go Rambo, people go ape-ish, right? People's MK goes off, and it's happening more often now. How many of us are prepared, like the policemen, to police our own community, to be able to inform or know what to do? We really need to renegotiate the way that we do things and we even interact with each other. What if your neighbor or your brother and sister, you know what I'm saying? What if somebody, do we know how to approach these new situations that are going on psychologically? Because the old psychology is not working. So we need to readjust the way that we interact with each other, because we have a lot of interference, and that's why another reason why we're not getting a lot done either. Think of Black Panther Party and COINTEL interference and a lot of the psychological warfare and games that were going on. Think of Martin Luther King and how they told him they wanted him to commit suicide. You serious? Yes. Martin Luther King received a letter that he should commit suicide rather than let other people know that he had a flaw and had did something, you know. A little did we know at that time what these people are doing with human sacrifices and, you know, pedophilia and stealing gold from Haiti. And, you know what I'm saying? Who are these governmental officials to be able to tell anybody anything about morality? But yeah, these were the people policing us and our morality that we allowed this to happen. So being able to be accountable and changing our disposition and the way that we look at mental health and psychology. And we must include the information that our environment is sick and that they are sick, and add in the equations of domestic violence as a metaphor to explaining the situation as addiction. We're in a situation where they're addicted to the way things have been, don't want to change it, don't want to stop, can't stop what they've been doing to us physically, mentally, and spiritually. And to an addict, you're going to make it all right. What? You're going to make it all right. You're going to shove that round hole into a square peg until it destroys and hurts everything around you, like a poison, a plague. That explains this force energetically when you start looking at what we're dealing with. Okay? Domestic violence. And how we, as people, adjust ourselves to things that are ugly and act like we don't see certain things happening to each other, to our neighbors. I'm just looking at the dimensions energetically. You know, it can happen to them, but not to me. You know, meat eating kind of concepts. We put these barriers in our mind that it's okay for them and not me somehow. But that, not saying that's right or wrong or good or bad. I'm just saying that that's who we are and how we behave energetically. That's what I'm saying right now. And as far as learning and teaching in the youth right now and what we should be learning, oh, you're going to need some freaking clean water. There are ways to make heat and light, ways to block out the radio wave frequencies, like I said, how to understand words better, and how to be able to tell when you're being infiltrated and there's people messing with you. Now, group consciousness is very important. We've been doing very well at noticing some of the stuff coming up now, okay? I'm very grateful for people who take the time to show the different patterns that are left behind in regards to COINTEL and gang stalking and government interference and stuff. Because we start to share it like I'm doing. I have been a targeted individual, which falls under human trafficking, being policed in all kinds of horrible ways in my life. And it's distracting, it, you know, throws you off. It's a way to police the energies here. So I can only imagine what's going on out there, and a lot of us are not even aware of what's going on. There's people dying from cancer, from suicide, from food, and they have no idea how they got there. They don't even know that they're being tripped. They don't even know that they're being triggered. They don't know that it's deliberate. They don't know there's kamikazes a little vaccine, a little food, a little stress, throw in some cell towers, and kaboom, you've got mail. And you don't want it. You don't want this mail. It's a bill. I'm just a bill. Yeah, I'm only a bill. And I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. And they want to depopulate. You know what I'm saying? They want to depopulate. So on our own, we need to learn these things and initiate a protocol to keep ourselves safe. And by learning these things, you know, one person has clean water, somebody else is growing some vegetables and some herbs or whatever, making elixirs. That keeps you healthy. Someone else is working on grids or things to keep out or to cut down on radioactive frequency. That cuts down on people going cuckoos and losing it with the voice to skull technology and stuff. It cuts on their abilities. It cuts down the abilities to be able to harm. And so as healers, we need to wise up and do no harm, find ways to protect each other, to trust each other, to invest in ways that it will balance out, where those will be the services for the community. You know, I could block out your radio waves. Well, I got clean water. I got roots and herbs to put certain things back in your body that the food doesn't even have anymore. I can heal with frequencies and vibrations and color. The things that we need to be learning right now are the things that aren't really present in our communities, okay? That's what we're going to need. That's what we've been needing. And since we're behind, while we were sleeping, we didn't have those things. It's time to make them now. And that's the good stuff that comes from out of the darkness, out of the womb space, out of the creative space, out of the pink, out of the fuchsia. And that's what I wanted to say about being a regulator, right? A resonator, what resonates with us, the corresponding frequencies in regards to group consciousness, is also to realize that we need the things that are not prevalent, not necessarily the things that we already agreed upon, that we get tricked into swaying, you know, on the scale. We are so easily swayed because it feels good, it's the fad, or it's just, that's the way we work. That's just the way we work. You know what I'm saying? If you step on my foot and I don't have shoes on, it's gonna hurt. That's just the way we work. It's nothing to be ashamed of, but it is time to start acknowledging it and just try to figure out how to make the energies, how to work these energies. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we need to figure out how to work these energies, okay, and step outside of ourselves so that we can actually be a collective. And that's outside of what we've been seeing. So individually, we all need particular things. And some of those things are what I mentioned, okay? So hopefully that was good for you, and that was a good start. All right? Much love to you and yours. I'm out. This is Regina's Rabbit Hole. Talk therapy.